Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, big welcome back to you. I'm glad you guys are joining me for another video. And yeah, I tried to do a video between Christmas and New Year's, and I'm doing it. So I did say I was going to try. So this is that little special video. So you'll see my little Christmas trees not in the photo. That does not mean I put it away. I just moved it out of the way because this is not my little Vlogmas videos anymore. This is now after Vlogmas video. I hope you guys have something cozy to sip on or cool to sip on if it's warm where you're at. It's nice and chilly here, but it's probably in the 40s, so really it's not that bad. It is cool though, so I did pop on my big cozy cardi. This is by Andrea Mowry, the pattern, and this is using my Multifarious Nature yarn and the colorways Chestnut, and then this is Autumn Kiss. So very cozy and comfy, and I definitely needed a comfy, cozy beverage because I have this little tickle that keeps lingering in my throat, and I've got a little bit of like a post-nasal drip going on here. So the after holiday situation, kind of what happens usually. So we'll get into more of life update end of things at the end of the video, per usual, if you do tend to watch these videos, which I'm so grateful for you. If you are new though, and you do enjoy this content, I usually talk about knitting, hand-dyed yarn, sometimes spinning. Do make sure that you like and subscribe, and if you hit the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted. So yeah, we'll dive right in here. Gotta get another sip though. All right. As far as shop update goes, I'll just let you guys know that I've got stocked up here. So if you are looking for any fun cast-ons for the new year, once the new year comes, of course it's too late if you wanted it shipped to you to get it by New Year's. But if you do want to have a new project in mind as one of your new first projects of the year, definitely make sure you take advantage. I do have a few sweater quantities currently dyed up, but I of course will take custom orders as well. Always open to that. And I love custom orders, actually. That's my favorite. All right, so we'll get into the whips, and I've got lots of them. I worked on a bunch because, as I mentioned, I've had this week off. I did take the entire week off from work. Through work, we had a few days off, and then I just took the 2 days in the middle off, which I'm so glad I did because, as I'll talk about in the life update, I think today is the actual day that I feel like I've actually relaxed and got things done. So it took me that long to feel that way, which is kind of crazy, but I will get into that in life update end of things. All right, so Advent knitting. I'm still going to talk about Advent knitting because I am still works in progress working on those. So we will start with my Advent, my Multifarious Nature Advent. As you know, if you've opened, I hope you've opened these because it is after that last weekend. If you haven't opened your Multifarious Nature Advent yet, definitely for 2024 or 2023, please make sure that you don't ruin the surprise for yourself. But I'm going to show them now. So these are the sock sets from this year's Advent, and these are the upcoming ones. So I haven't worked with these yet, but I'm looking forward to working with them so much over the coming year here. I'm just going to take my time, and my goal is to kind of focus on having at least one sock project going at all times because I really love my hand knit socks. They're so comfortable. They're some of the most comfortable socks that I own, and they're just really fun and festive. So especially during like all these different months, and that's the fun part about this Advent. Yes, it was dyed up for Christmas, and the names are very Christmas oriented, but they all are something that you could wear all year long and would still be applicable. I just undid that skein. Whoops. All right, this is the let's see here, my second sock, and the pattern is the Ridgeline boot sock. And see, I was so on top of writing. I made notes, you guys. I made notes, but I forgot to write down the designer. Whoops. Oopsie. Maybe I forgot to do it again. So sorry. Anyway, that's what happens when you wing it a little bit. Thought I grabbed it and thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. But it's the Ridgeline boot sock. If you look it up, it's on Ravelry, and I, of course, include a link below to make it easier for you. But that's what I made my first sock set. It is a color work, and there's ribbing. And it's so much fun. So this is the holiday cheer sock set, but the first sock set from the first weekend of Advent. I absolutely love this color. I've been knitting on it a lot because this is the second sock, and I just love it. It keeps me going. It's so fun with all the fun speckles here. We've got some dark green speckles. There's this dark kind of vintage, I would go a brownish red. It's kind of, I call it like a vintage red, but it just reminds me of a vintage Christmas kind of coloring. However, vintage Christmas is a different colorway that I have, but but that is what it reminds me of, those kind of vintage colors, very Victorian-esque is where I was going with this colorway, and I love it. It has the reds, as I said, the greens. There's some really dark navy blue speckling in here, and yeah, it's really fun. So that is the primary color, and then the contrast color is this red that is kind of like it's kind of a poinsettia red. It's definitely a bit more vibrant than that, but it's like a classic red to me, and that's what I'm using as the contrast color, and it is also going to be on the heel and the toes. So I already completed one of the socks. I definitely left that project out in the living room, so I will not be showing you that other sock. If you watch my prior videos, you'll be able to see the finished sock, but there you go. So this is the second one, and I'm just cruising through it. I'm going to do, this is mirror image socks, so it will be a right and left sock. I do not know how I'll be able to tell the difference, but that's what it's going to be. And I'll just see how it works. If I don't love it, or I don't think there's really that big of a difference, then I probably won't ever do that again. But she did give you directions that if you just wanted to do the same sock for each foot, you could just repeat the left foot, or right foot, whatever one that I did first. I think it's the right foot. Just copy the right foot pattern completely, and then you'd have to do the same sock. So it's not a big deal, but apparently you can do the mirror image. Something new. Something new. There's also a folded over cuff, which is something new, and the color work is something new for me as well. So I did go up a needle size for the color work portion, which is an instruction per the pattern. So that worked out well. I did try it on, the first one, and as I mentioned, I do feel like I might have wanted to go down a sock size. So I went with size 3. There's 3 sizes, and based off my measurement on my foot, I definitely thought the third size would be good. But after trying on the third size, I kind of feel like the second size would be better, because even without wearing these socks, they feel kind of loose around the ankle and everything, and I feel like I like my socks to be more fitted, so I probably should have gone to at least the middle size 2, but we will see. I will finish this sock a size 3 and see how it goes, and if I don't absolutely love the fit of it, I'll just do the size down. That has nothing to do with the pattern, you know, that's just me saying this is what she recommended based on size, and it may or may not be to your comfort level. So, you know, that's, you just kind of live and learn with these patterns. So if I need to go down size, I'll just have these my comfier socks, and then I will go down with a different sock set. And I am working on this project in a Christmas gift that I got actually from my husband. So he was my Secret Santa too. So with my siblings, we do Secret Santa, and he got pulled as my Secret Santa, and he did a really good job keeping it a secret because I had no idea, and it was a lot of fun. And he got me some goodies to work on with my sourdough, which I'll talk about that in the life update end of things. But I also got this really cool yarn bowl. So isn't it neat? It looks like a big ball of yarn, which I love. And then it has this little spot here you can put your yarn. So I have yet to figure out a good way of working with this. Maybe if it's sitting next to me on the couch or something, maybe that would be better. but I tend to have my yarn bowl on the ground next to me or something along those lines. And if I put the yarn in here, it could just be the design, but I don't feel like the yarn pulls very smoothly through here. But if I just put my yarn ball in here and just work from the top like I do with my other yarn bowls that are not really yarn bowls, they're just bowls, that works really well for me as well, because it keeps the yarn in here rolling around instead of rolling around on the ground, which keeps it from getting all pilly. And yeah, I'd rather not have my yarn look all pilly until I'm actually worn the item. I want it to stay as nice and fresh until that, and it works great. Just plop my little project in there, and it's a perfect size for that, especially for a pair of socks. I can easily fit the project in here, so love that. It was a super fun gift, and it works great. So that is my first project for Advent knitting, and then my second Advent knitting is with the Woolberry winter box for 2023. It's not exactly an Advent, but you could use it that way because it has 4 sock sets, or not sock sets, 4 colorways. And I just opened, well, I was naughty, so it comes with a book. You don't have to do the book, but I did purchase the one with the book, and I've been really bad about reading the book, so I'm hoping that I can just take some time, maybe tomorrow, and just do some reading on it, maybe even tonight, because it is kind of a sweet little book. I just didn't take the time to do it. I wanted to knit and do all the other things that were going on, so I did not make it a priority. So instead of not being able to open those until I got to a certain page, I cheated. But I was patient enough to wait until each weekend leading up to Christmas. So each Sunday I just opened one of those colorways. That way I could continue working on this project and not have the book hold me up. And by the book, it's really me not reading it, so let's not put blame on the poor little book. So this is the Woolberry colorways. So if you decided to only open the colors while you're reading the book and you were really good and true to that, then obviously don't look at this because I do not want to ruin it for you. But I will be showing those colors now, so you've been warned. This is that Woolberry winter box this year for 2023. I am doing, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, the Resource Raglan Foundation Fade sweater. So it is going to be a long sleeve sweater. It's a raglan, which I love raglans. The first colorway is a kind of a violet gray with some navy speckling, and then it's fading into this really pretty green that has a lot of fun speckling, and it's almost kind of a variegated green, but it's not, I don't know, it's speckling. It's fun. It's a really pretty green, and it fades really nicely. I like the way this fades. So the next colorway that I'm just starting with, you can see it right here, is this really pretty purple. So this is the next colorway, and again, it's a very light purple, and that'll be the next one. You can see how that goes so nicely with that first one, but it's a little darker. And then the last colorway, which I look forward to getting to, but it's a really dark green. Really beautiful. And that's going to go, oops, try to visualize this, you guys. It's going to fade into those colors, so it's really pretty. Like most fade patterns, it really helps motivate you to keep going. You just want to get to that next color, and when you're doing the alternating, you just want to the next round, the next round. So it really does help motivate you to keep going. The pattern isn't, like I said, it's not complicated, but you do have to pay some attention to what you're doing. And I've made notes like you need to know which round you stopped for your sleeve when it comes to the fading, so that way you can start the fading on the sleeve in the proper spot so it matches the rest of the body of your sweater. So there's a few things you do have to kind of pay attention to and all that good stuff, but I think it's going to be a really nice little sweater, and I love the colors. I think it's going to be right up my alley. It's a little lighter than colors that I tend to wear, but it's moody and deep colors, which I love. So I'm very happy with it. I love the colorways, so she did a beautiful job. and it was really fun to support another independent dyer out there. So beautiful. All right, then we'll get into the next project. So I did work on 2 other projects other than my advents. So I did work on the Incredible Blanket, which is also my healing blanket. So that's this one here. And I am randomly picking colors and doing this. This is the Incredible Blanket by Purl Soho. Ooh, I almost dropped my stitches. Oh boy. I am using Manos Uruguay yarn. It's super beautiful. They are primarily the merino silk base, which I think it's, I wrote it down. Didn't write down what it was called. Pheno. The Pheno base. So they're primarily the Pheno base. It's just beautiful. And it's so fun because, oh, I screwed up this row right here, if you can't tell. But I don't care. The whole point is this is my healing blanket, so I don't care if I make a little mistake here and there. This is literally a process of therapy. This is a therapy for me. I am not even going to sugarcoat that. This is a therapy blanket for me. So the way I work on it, I have a bag of cool colors, I have a bag of warm colors, and then I do a row from either color. So if it's the cool color, I do the row from the cool color bag, and then I reach into the warm color bag and pull out a warm color, and then I do the next row in that color. So it's completely random, but there's only so many of each color in the bag. So they will just start alternating. So you'll see some of these colors I've already worked with, but they may have been in the background and now they're in the foreground and things like that. So it's really fun. It's a half fisherman's rib. I'm pretty sure it's still a free pattern. It was before. And again, this is the Incredible Blanket. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a bigger blanket, so it's a throw, but it's going to be a larger throw. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just working on it. I'm in no rush. As I mentioned, this is a form of therapy for me, that's for sure. I know knitting in general is, but this project, it definitely is. So something nice and relaxing that I am very much enjoying working on. I've got to kind of get through this video and not make it too long because it is really dark outside and we still have to put our chickens away, so I'm a little nervous. Okay. So if I start talking a million miles per hour, that's why. Alright, next I'm going to talk about the Knit Stalker Hat, which is one of my favorite hats I've ever knit. I knit it in a dark chocolatey brown wool, and then this one I am making with 100% Angora. And my alpaca floof base. So yeah, it's super soft, very fluffy, and yeah, the Susie Bonell is the pattern designer. The thing is I do not think she has a pattern out there anymore, which is really a shame because it's a fun pattern. But the Angora is from Angora Leeward's Elgin. I'm not familiar with the brand, so it's a little confusing to me, but it's so beautiful, you guys. Look how far I am. I literally can finish this today if I buckle down and do it. Look how fluffy. It's going to be blinding because of the light and this white, but oh boy, it's going to be so blinding. And then I have my Stardust colorway on my alpaca cloud base in there. So that just caused some fun striping. And there's the little bitty visor that just looks like a big pile of fluff. And it's so soft. It is so soft. So I knit on this so much during Thanksgiving, and then I just started working on it again. So I actually got quite a bit done in this top portion. I've got about a good 1.5 inches or so. I had to keep moving my progress keeper because I was trying to keep count of my, which would actually be a perfect spot to be using the analog row counter, but I'm using that in my, actually I should mention that, I'm using my analog row counter in my, the Woolberry Resource Raglan Foundation Fade. Oh my gosh, it is so helpful because it's keeping track, because it gives you how many rows to do the body, and I love it because it has to do with the fade and everything, and this, I'm using it and it's keeping track and I love it so much. So if you have issues trying to keep track of increases, decreases when there's counts involved, highly recommend my analog row counters. I love it so much. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is what it is. Ooh. It is like this. It has numbers, and then it has this little a gem at the end, and it goes, you can count from 1 to 100 using this little doodad. And if you use more than one progress keeper on here to do the counting, you could go further than that. But by using this one counter, I can go to 100. So the analog row counter comes with one counter attached, but if you did want to use another progress keeper with this as well, you could do more than 100 rows, which sounds wild, but you'd have to just kind of figure out how to do that. It's like an abacus. If you're familiar with that kind of thing, then that would make sense. But that's gonna really date myself, but there you go. Okay, so loving this. Super fluffy, very, very, very soft. Between the fluffy, wonderful alpaca and then this Angora that's super fluffy, you'll see like little bits of Angora. It sheds like crazy while I'm working with it, but my hope is once I wash this, it will not shed quite as much, I hope. But it is super, super soft, and this is going to be my super warm, fluffy hat for the winter time. I feel like this could be like my dress up little hat. It's so fancy and fluffy. Very luxurious. This was gifted to me, this beautiful wool. So, or Angora. It's Angora, not wool. Alright. Whew. Those are the works in progress. I feel like I had to rattle through that quick. Anyway, life update end of things. So, like I said, sourdough baking. I've been doing a lot of sourdough baking. It's so good. It's so good. So I made sourdough rolls for Christmas. They were so good for our little Christmas celebration, and which actually went really well. It was a lot of fun, and everybody seemed to have a really good time, which that makes it all worthwhile. Obviously, hosting is stressful, but it's exhausting. More than anything, it's exhausting. And I realize that now, as I was saying, that I just finally feel like I relaxed today. So, whew, yeah, it's like, good grief, it took that long. I had last Thursday through today off, and I now am feeling like I'm actually relaxing, which that's pretty crazy to say that out loud. Okay, but you know, there was holiday celebrations, and I did have like an appointment I had to go to yesterday. You know, sometimes when you have the time off, you want to make appointments and stuff. So it's kind of, that's all of that kind of, you know, made you have to be on top of things, do things, have a timeline. And I guess I didn't really allow myself to fully relax, so that's weird. But more sourdough baking, let's get back to that. Anyway, like I said, the rolls, I did the rolls. I made homemade sourdough bread, like a loaf of bread, and then I took that and made sourdough French toast, which, oh my gosh, you guys, it's our sourdough French toast casserole. So good, so good. It's such a treat. It's kind of like a cinnamon roll in a casserole, but closer to French toast, where it's a little more custard-like. Oh, it's good. It's really good. Highly recommend it. I'll include recipes that I used in the description below. So if you're looking for new recipes, I'll include those below. Yeah, and I'm pretty much doing a lot of like the egg collecting for the chickens and everything, which I'm so grateful. Our chickens are still very big. They are just being prolific layers. It's wonderful. We do not have a shortage. We do have a few chickens that kind of like alternate when they want to lay, but each day we at least get a couple, like 4 eggs a day, which is excellent. So yeah, that is wonderful. I don't remember if I mentioned in the last video or not, we did lose another one of our chickens. It's kind of, that's I guess the way life goes, right? So we did lose one of our little bantams. She was so stinking cute, and she got snatched up by a hawk. So that was very unfortunate. My husband actually found her, so he did know kind of what happened, and that was sad. but she was not a prolific layer. Bantams aren't known for that. It's just they're stinking cute and entertaining as all get out, but they do not lay a lot of eggs. So it was one of those, it's like a bittersweet situation, because it's more bitter than sweet because, you know, obviously she wasn't really providing. When you think of these animals are there to help provide, but she was really cute. So she did provide entertainment and very friendly little bird, but yeah, not a big egg layer. So she was eating food and not really giving anything back except entertainment, which is fine. It was not a big deal, but it is sad that to me, it's always hard when they get killed off by predators, because it just feels wasteful, even though the predator obviously did get some food out of that situation. It just feels very wasteful. So anyway, I'll get past that because it's kind of sad. Anyway, we'll go into some other stuff that I've been up to between some cleaning. I did some cleaning in the kitchen today. So that's why I know, like, I actually feel like I relaxed today, but I actually got some things done today too, which is weird because you'd think I'd be tired from that, but I actually feel really good. So I did some cleaning in the kitchen. I also made another loaf of sourdough bread today, and I'm still trying to give it master. So I did it in a loaf pan. I made like a loaf of sourdough bread, and it's the craziest thing. I'm having the hardest time. I think I probably have to make a deeper cut. I just started, so the first loaf I made like opened up on the side, and I had like huge open for the, you know, gases to escape. And I was like, boy, that is not the most, it's not bad. I'll still eat it. It still tastes good, but I kind of would like it a little more controlled where that gap, that pocket opens. So I was like, I'll get fancy now that Dan gifted me some fun sourdough items. I used my blade that he got me, and I made some slits in it, thinking, oh, I've got this figured out. It's gonna now bust where those slits are. Not so much. So what I should have done is, I think, cut them one definitely deeper, and then also kind of maybe either let it rise a little bit after I cut it or something, so that it hopefully then the gases will go out through there. I don't know. If you guys are big sourdough people, if you could mention in the comments your secrets to successfully scoring your sourdough so that it opens where you want it to, that would be very helpful and appreciated. Anyway, but I'm really getting into it. I love it. And he got me a larger crock to put it in, which is excellent, because then the sourdough, I can make more of it, which is excellent. Because I was just making it in little containers, which basically you can just do one, like you feed it and then you use it to make your bread, and then you'd have to feed just that little bit again. But if I use a larger crock and make more of it, then I can do multiple recipes if I want, which in one day, instead of constantly having to just feed in every other day, like, or every day baking something, I could do multiple one day, if that makes sense. All right. But I did want to share some other fun stuff. It's because the holidays. So if you are someone who is lactose intolerant, which I know a lot of adults tend to be these days in general, we just don't need milk as much as we get older, and yeah, lactose is not my friend. And I discovered something in the dairy section, because I was going to do a lot of baking and things that involve milk and all of that. I actually found something recently, and it's half and half, but it's lactose free. I was so excited because I could make coffee and add that to my coffee, and my mushroom coffee or my tea. Like I made, this is some Earl Grey, decaf Earl Grey, because Lord knows if I was drinking regular caffeinated Earl Grey at this hour, I'd probably be up all night. But it's decaf, and I added that lactose-free half and half to it, and it's really good. So something to keep an eye out in your food store. I think it's actually Land O'Lakes brand or something. So I don't know. There you go. They're starting to come out with more and more lactose-free items or dairy-free items, and I'm so grateful because for those of us that have sensitivities that I guess are more extreme than others, I think most adults are lactose intolerant. It's just whether you're super uncomfortable enough that you will try to cut that out of your life. But for me, definitely ice cream and milk are my enemy. So there you go. Oh, and the other thing, so this will be another thing I'll try to include a recipe for. So you just need a container. Any container will do. And I made this actually for gifts. Is DIY. It's a honey hand salve. It's so nice. It smells so good. And it uses coconut oil, honey, and I think, yeah, it's coconut oil, honey, and beeswax. And it's so luxurious, super moisturizing. You can see my hands probably have like a nice sheen to it right now. Super moisturizing. I use this on my hands, but I also you can use it on like your lips. It's just a one size fits many things situation. I used I'm a huge fan. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, this is not sponsored. I just absolutely love it. Little Seed Farm is a small business that makes handmade items. They're getting bigger, which is excellent. I'm so glad to see a small business thriving. And I love their deodorants. So one of my favorites, this is the jar I used from that, is their jasmine green tea. So good. So good. It smells so good. And it has all natural ingredients, and it does contain activated charcoal, which is really excellent. So if you're looking for a nice natural deodorant, just saying, they use a lot of their items, like their moisturizing items, their soaps are made with goat's milk. Like a lot of their items are made with that. Excellent. Their moisturizers are amazing. I love their goat's milk soap. Super moisturizing. So highly recommend their stuff. But anyway, I just used their little glass container once my deodorant ran out. I washed it out and then I used that because I made a bunch for gifts and I had extra and I poured it in here for myself, and I'm so glad I had just enough to fill up another container. And I've been using that during the day, evenings. It's super moisturizing. So I will include that link. It's a very easy recipe and it is just wonderful. It would make an excellent gift for others and definitely for yourself. So even though Christmas is past us, you could use it for birthdays, things like that. So, or next Christmas. There you go. All right, and oh, I had one other gift that I wanted to. I don't know where you're gonna get it, but if you happen to find it at a store near you, I've never heard of this brand, but it's called White Barn, and it's Winter White Woods, and it's made with essential oils. It's a candle. Got this from, oh, yes, my mother-in-law for Christmas. It smells so good. You can see I've burned it a bunch already. It smells so good. So I really like it. So I've got that one I've been burning. It smells like a Christmas tree. And then I also currently am burning is the Evergreen Mist from Yankee Candle. Oh my gosh, I love it. I've been burning that one for a while now. Today I just go through these phases of different candles each day, and I've got my kind of Christmassy holiday-oriented ones, and I've been burning the heck out of them because I feel like I can do that during the winter time, but then once winter's over, I need to switch to other candles, and I just love the smell of Christmas tree so much. And yeah, trying to get as much of it as I possibly can. But that's about it, you guys. I don't know what you guys have been up to. Did anyone have any super fun gifts for Christmas that are knitting related or fiber related? I'd love to hear about it. If you guys worked on any advents, I'd also love to hear about that. I always love to hear about other fun advents out there. There are so many fun ones. And of course I discover more every year. I'm like, gosh, next year I'm gonna ask for this one for Christmas. And so I'm trying to make better notes of that because otherwise I just forget. And I definitely want to keep my eyes peeled for more like non-superwash. non-superwash, I need to sip on something, a non-superwash wool advent. I did that for my first advent, actually, was a non-superwash advent, so if you are looking for one, I think I have at least one left in the shop, so if you would like one, it was inspired by Upper Peninsula here in Michigan, some of the spots up there, so it's really fun, lots of fun color, and yeah, definitely recommend it if you're looking for a non-superwash advent. But I think that's about it, you guys. I think I will leave you there. I hope you have a wonderful new year that is coming up here, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. This is the last podcast of 2023. I cannot believe it. It's been a whirlwind of a year. A lot has happened. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's been an emotional roller coaster. I feel like that has been my life's, like, every year. It feels like that's the way it's gone, but that's all right. You know, life is full of that. So there, with the hard comes the good. And there was a quote that I watched a movie and I wrote it down so that I would not forget. So I just want to say it correctly because I think I know what it is, but I want to say it correctly. So bear with me. I think it's probably from something other than this movie, but because I know I've heard it before. Okay, I'm back. I know I've heard it before, but if you haven't, I do recommend a movie that is a lot of fun. And it's called A Boy Called Christmas. It's definitely Christmas oriented, so if you're like over Christmas celebrations right now, even though technically we're in that the 12 days of Christmas, after Christmas celebrations going on, from my understanding. But if you're looking for an interesting holiday movie, definitely recommend it. It's very well done, and there's some good actors in it too. But I got this for Christmas, actually, this little book, and I decided to write this quote in there because it's in the movie, and it hit home for me, and I think it will hit home for a lot of people that have gone through dark times, maybe are currently going through dark times. So I guess I'll end the video with this, but the darkest night will end, the sun will rise again, and this is the way. So there you go. I will leave you with that even in your darkest times, the sun will rise. So I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year celebration, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care.